Today we're going to talk about yielding our horse's feet with a rope. One is for safety and two is for communication. This is one of the safest ways to teach our horses how to lift their feet and prepare for the farrier, prepare for the shoer, without getting in a position where we can potentially get hurt by a young horse. The other reason is we build confidence with this horse's feet in yielding to pressure. So one day, if it's ever caught in a fence or barbed wire, hopefully it won't be caught in barbed wire, but if it ever is, it will yield instead of try to fight and get tangled and be in a worse off situation. So yesterday we went over exposing our horse to a bit of approach and retreat with our stick, and yielding the hindquarter and the forehand with rhythmic pressure, and yielding the forehand and hindquarter with steady pressure, and then with rhythmic pressure backing our horse away and to our personal space to teach respect and lightness. Now we're going to start to work with some of the other body parts and see if we can develop some confidence and sensitivity. Another thing to remember about all these techniques is that we're building a relationship with this horse based on trust, communication, and leadership. I want this horse to trust me in every way, in everything that I ask him. I want him to trust his environment that he's in. I also want him to be sensitive and to be light, as well as confident and curious. So what that will lead to is this horse becoming a partner. Now, if this horse starts to get worried, I'm just going to say hello to him because he started stepping into me. If he starts to get worried, we're going to play approach and retreat to build his confidence back up and start to get him using the partnership side of the brain. Another thing to remember is that these techniques can be used with any horse, not just quarter horses, not just Western horsemanship. This is the foundation level to go anywhere, to specialize in anything that you want to do, whether it be competition. I've trained winning jumping horses, dressage horses, as well as barrel racing horses, cutting and reined cow horse with these techniques. So it's really about laying a solid foundation to go anywhere that you would like to go. All right, so now I've got my 12-foot rope that's connected to my horse, my lead line, and then I've got my 22-foot line. Okay, so this is 22 feet long. We're going to use this to safely pick up our horse's feet. I won't need my stick for now, so I'm just going to put my stick to the side. Then I'll get my 22-foot line out. And just like we were doing yesterday, I'm going to play approach and retreat with this lead line and make sure, this 22-foot line, make sure my horse is confident wrapping this around his feet. Okay? I'm not just going to bend down and put this around my horse's feet and not know if my horse might be afraid of this and might try to run away or strike and kick. Okay? So this is looking pretty good. This horse is just standing here allowing me to put this lead line around. Okay, so the next I'm going to take the lead line, wrap it around his front leg, and now I've got my lead line, my 22-foot line, around his left front foot. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cross the lead line a few times so that now I've got his foot inside of my lead line, but I can always let go if this horse gets scared. I can always let go of both of these lines if my horse gets scared, but I also have him caught on his foot. So I'm going to see if he can lift his hoof in the air by my asking. I'm going to lift up and hold. Great. And as soon as he lifts his foot, I'll release pressure. Okay? And I just want him to learn how to lift his foot off the ground and hold it. So I'm going to put steady pressure on. I'm not going to let him bite me, so I just move my leg a little bit to encourage him not to put his mouth on me, and I'm just going to hold until it's his decision to lift his foot off the ground. There we go. I'll rub him. Then before he wants to put his foot down, I'll put it down for him. Okay? So I'm teaching him that the right answer is to lightly pick his foot up without slamming it down. If I wait till he slams it down, then I've just taught him that slamming it down is the release of pressure. So as much as I can, I'm going to try to release my pressure on the lead line before he thinks about putting the foot down himself. Okay? And so hopefully that will, next time it'll be a little bit easier and I can hold it for a little bit longer. So again, I'm going to lift up on this rope. I'm standing about a 45 degree from his shoulder, 45 degree angle, and I'm just holding until he thinks about lifting his foot in the air. Okay. If he gets distracted, I can bring the lead line closer to me and just ask him to not be playing around and focus on what I'm asking him to do, which is lift his foot, not chew on the lead line. Now, if he is just standing here, nothing's happening, I can put some rhythm on this lead line and inspire him to do something else besides just stand there. I use rhythmic pressure and steady pressure. So steady pressure first, and that's backed up by rhythmic pressure, encouraging him to try something besides stand. Okay, good. And I'll rub him. Good. Put his foot back down before he tries to slam it into the ground and let him rest. Okay. I'll see if he can lick his lips, blink his eyes, or put his head down, or possibly even blow out, but we want to see if he gives us any indication that he started to understand that concept. Okay. Which is giving him time to think, is when the horse learns a concept. So pressure motivates, release teaches. So when I lift this lead rope up, I'm motivating him to push or to lift his foot in the air. When I release to him, I've just taught him what I want to do. So the release is what teaches, okay? Not the pressure itself. And I'm going to ask again. I'll gently lift up. Close my fist, get a little bit firmer on the pressure. Good. I'll keep holding until he lifts. Good job. I can rub him here. If he was to try to walk away, I'd just lift my lead line up and encourage him not to walk away and start all over again. Okay, I'm going to try that one more time. If my 22-foot line loses a couple of figure eights, I'll just put some more figure eights back in. Okay, and that helps tighten up the rope around his leg. I don't want to make it too tight because I don't want to scare him. I just want to make it tight enough that it can hold his foot easily. Good. When I ask him to lift it up. Perfect. Okay, good. All right, so now we're going to go to the right front foot. And he just licked his lips, meaning that he's understanding a concept of an idea. He's also starting to lift his hoof with less effort from me. So he's lifting it lighter and lighter. All right. And I'll turn him around so you can see his right front. Good. So now I've got my rope on my right hand. Okay. I'll rub him. Let him know he doesn't have to walk away. And again, just make sure that your horse is confident with that lead rope going over his legs. Plan approach and retreat. Doesn't matter which way you figure eight this lead line, whatever you're more comfortable with, to the left or to the right. Okay, put a couple of figure eights in it and then gently lift on the rope. And see if you can inspire them to pick their foot up. Gently nudge him and ask him not to. Good. And every time he tries to lift his foot up, I'll release pressure. I'll ask him again. And I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting for him to make a decision on lifting his foot. It's got to be his decision, his idea. I'm just going to set it up and wait and be patient. Eventually, he's going to ask himself, well, how do I get out of this pressure? Good. As soon as he tried, I released. Okay. Ask him again. If he tries to walk away, I'll lift my lead rope up, and I'm going to make sure the lead line comes up behind his shoulder, and I take his hoof away. Okay, so he stops struggling and trying to leave me. All right. So eventually, this horse will start to think about lifting lighter and lighter and not walking away. Okay. Lifted my lead line, and I'm just waiting for this horse to respond. Okay, he's thinking about responding. He's putting his neck down, he's shifting his weight. This is where I just need to be patient. Need to be patient and just let him make a decision. Because I want him to think. I want him to think through these puzzles. Okay? And this is how we can start to encourage our horses to think about what we're asking. We set it up and wait. Have it be their idea to seek the release of pressure. Okay. Put his foot down before he puts it down himself. Okay, and then we'll let him rest, rub him, let him know he did a good job. And if we can get these horses to start thinking about our ideas, then eventually they're more willing to be in a partnership with us because we're having a conversation. Okay, if he puts his foot down, I'm just going to hold that pressure because he was just trying to take a balance step. He tried to lift his foot up, but then he got off balance. Okay, so I'm not going to criticize him for that. I'm just going to keep the pressure on until he lifts his foot back up. Okay, we'll see if he can do that again without getting off balance. I'll lift my lead rope. Okay, ask him to pick his head up and see if he can lift that foot. If not, I'll put some rhythm on the lead rope. There. Good. That was pretty light. Allow him to balance with his hind legs. Good. And I don't mind this lead rope being on the ground and rubbing up against him. I'm doing that for a reason. I want him to get used to ropes rubbing up on his legs and being in front of him. I don't want to avoid that. I want him to get confident with ropes being all over the place. Okay, it'll help prepare him for when we start obstacle training. Okay, now we're going to move on to the hind legs. I'm going to wrap this rope around his hind leg. Good. So we got to be careful here. We've already taken our horsemanship stick and we've rubbed him all over. So he should be okay with his hind legs being touched. If you feel they're not, go ahead and rub in between his legs, rub his rump with your horsemanship stick, okay? So that you don't have to worry about if he's going to be frightened on this and try to strike and kick. All right. Again, we're just going to gently figure eight this rope around itself and down to his right hind foot. Now I'll lift up. Again, I'm standing about at his shoulder and I'm staying outside of his kick zone, so it's going to be harder for him to kick me if he was to overreact. Good. And as soon as he lifts his foot up, I'll release. Okay. Try it again. Good. As soon as he lifts his foot up, I'll release. Lift my lead rope up and make sure he doesn't walk off. Okay, I'm going to keep steady pressure on this lead line until he relaxes that right hind leg, and he can kick if he wants to kick. As soon as he relaxes, I'll release it down. So that's good. He's starting to show me that he might be a little bit unconfident with me lifting up his hind feet. So that means I've got more to work on with his hind feet. Okay, lift my lead rope up. Okay, make sure that he doesn't try to run away. I'm just going to drift with him until he finds a place to stop and lifts his leg up. Good. I'll ask for his hind leg to lift up. Good. Then I want him to relax it. Okay, I can rub him, but he's got to find his own balance. So part of this is being confident with the lead rope, and the other part is him finding his own balance and not walking away. Good. And the reason why horses are so protective of their feet is that when a predator comes and tries to kill a prey animal, okay, they often take out their tendons and their feet in order to immobilize them and then eat them. So he's got a natural inclination to want to protect his own feet. So it's up to me to build trust with his hind legs and his front legs and let him know that he doesn't have to overreact to this and he can build confidence in my leadership. Okay, it just so happens that I'm using a lead line, okay, but that doesn't mean that I'm not connected to that lead line. My leadership, my intention, it's all connected. So I want him to be confident in all of that, okay? If he tries to move away, I'm just going to drift with him. I'm not going to criticize him for walking away. I'm just going to drift with him and play some approach and retreat until he relaxes and stops. Okay? Okay, he's chewing on the lead line, so I'll see if I can get it out of his mouth. This horse is a playful horse, so when you see horses chewing and picking things up, that means they have a high play drive, which is great. That means that we can do lots of things combining consistency and variety. So this horse, I need to make sure that I don't bore him too much, otherwise he's going to start looking for new things to do. Okay, I'm just going to drive and protect my space so he doesn't nibble on me. And I'm going to lift my lead rope up and ask him to lift his hoof up. Okay, I'll do it again. Good. Good, that's exactly what I'm looking for. For him to lift his hind leg up and then relax. Okay. Lift his hind leg up and then relax. Okay. Then once we have that going pretty well, and I know that he's starting to develop some hands, and we want to make sure that we can do this at least 5 or 6 times in a row without our horses struggling or trying to run away. They are lifting their feet at phase 1, so just when you lift the lead rope up, okay, and they're not walking away or trying to kick. So I'm going to slide my hand down, and I'm going to, at this horse's acorn, which is right here on the inside of his foot, just going to give that a little press and support with my right arm and ask him to lift his foot up. Okay, I'll let him put that hoof back down. I'll come over to the other side. Slide my right hand down, and again, if you look at my feet are parallel to the horse. Okay, I'm not standing underneath of him where I could get stepped on. I'm standing parallel to the horse, so if anything happens, I can just step away. Okay. Slide my hand down so he knows that I'm coming. And just press on his acorn until he thinks about lifting his hoof up. Support his hoof with my left hand. Okay. And I'm just going to hold it till he relaxes and balances himself. Okay, same with his hind feet. I'm going to rub his hind leg. If he tries to walk away, I'm just going to keep rubbing and lift my rope until he stops. Keep rubbing, lift my rope until he finds a place to stop. He's just showing me he's a little bit more concerned with his hindquarter. Okay. Slide my hand down, ask him to lift with that acorn, then support his foot with my left hand, and then let him back down. Okay. Do it one more time. On this side, slide my right hand down. Just wait for him to lift his foot up. If he wants to slam it down, I'm not going to fight him, but I am going to ask him again. I'm not going to fight him, just going to ask him again. And rub. Okay? If I start yanking and pulling on him, or getting mean or angry, then there's more chance that he's going to try to fight me, try to kick, and he's going to get more fearful or more scared. So I don't want to scare him, I just want to ask him all over again. So we're going to come here on the left side, okay, slide my left hand down and support his hind foot and rub, okay, and I'm rubbing to let him know that everything's okay, that even though he's in a vulnerable position, I'm not going to hurt him. Okay, picking up a prey animal's feet, they're putting a whole lot of trust in you. So I want to let him know that he can trust me as a leader. Okay, ask and release. Lift that rope up. Make sure that he just finds a place to stop. I'll ask him again. Good. Gently lift that lead rope up. Ask him to stop. Slide my hand down again. Support with my right hand. Good. All right. So now we've got our horse thinking about lifting up his feet confidently. All right.